Discipline or Abuse, a case digest presented by Violagar Duque and Federos Rea. Here are the immediate facts on this case. This case, which is between Felina Rosaldes, petitioner, and People of the Philippines as the respondents, with GR number 173988, was given a decision on October 8, 2014, and with Bersamin J as the ponente. Here are the appellant versus the respondent's prayers. The appellant, which is Felina Rosaldes, and the respondent as the People of the Philippines. The appellant has the following prayers: petition for review on certiorari and appeal for constitutional right on due process. The respondent's prayer is the dismissal of petition for review on certiorari. Facts of the case. Felina Rosaldes, who was a public school teacher, was charged and found guilty of child abuse violating Republic Act 7610. Michael Ryan Gonzalez, 7 years of age, is a grade 1 pupil at Paghanan Elementary School, Lambunao, Iloilo. On February 13, 1996, as Michael was on a hurry in entering the room, he accidentally bumped the knee of his teacher, Felina Rosaldes, who was then asleep on a bamboo sofa. Felina demanded for an apology from Michael, but he did not obey and just went to his seat. Because of this, she pinched Michael on his thigh, held him up by his armpits, and pushed him on the floor, which caused Michael to hit a desk. And because of this, he lost consciousness. However, Felina still proceeded and picked him by his ears and repeatedly slammed him on the floor. After that incident, Felina still proceeded with her class. At lunch break, Michael, accompanied by two of his classmates, went home crying and informed his mother about the incident at school. His mother, together with his aunt, Evangeline Gonzalez, reported the incident to their barangay captain, Gonzalo Laroa, who advised them to have Michael examined by a doctor. Dr. Teresita Castigador performed a medical examination, and the medical exam was used as an evidence for child abuse against the petitioner. The medical certificate, which was issued by Dr. Teresita Castigador, stated that petechiae and tenderness of both external ears were found, lumbar pains and tenderness at area of L3 to L4 spinal segment, contusions at left inner thigh, and tenderness and pain on walking, especially at the area of femoral head. Felina was charged criminally with child abuse in the Regional Trial Court of Iloilo, and on June 26, 2003, she was found guilty beyond reasonable doubt of violating Section 10A, Article 6 of RA 7610. Therefore, the court sentenced her to an indeterminate prison term which ranges from 4 years, 2 months, and 1 day of prison correctional as minimum to 6 years and 1 day of prison mayor as maximum, and to pay the costs. And on May 11, 2005, the Court of Appeals affirmed the conviction and also modified the penalty. The accused is now sentenced to suffer the indeterminate penalty of 4 years, 2 months, and 1 day of prison correctional as the minimum, to 10 years and 1 day of prison mayor as the maximum. She then submitted a petition for review on certiorari.
Legal issues, decision, and the rule of law. Issue number 1. Was Felina guilty of child abuse? The decision was yes. The Regional Trial Court convicted her guilty beyond reasonable doubt. And, according to the law, Republic Act 7610 or known as the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act, Section 3 and Article 6, Section 10 defines child abuse as to maltreatment, whether habitual or not, of the child, which includes any of the following: 1. Psychological and physical abuse, neglect, cruelty, sexual abuse, and emotional maltreatment. 2. Any act by deeds or words which debases, degrades, or demeans the intrinsic worth and dignity of a child as a human being. 3. Unreasonable deprivation of his basic needs for survival, such as food and shelter. And lastly, failure to immediately give medical treatment to an injured child, resulting in serious impairment of his growth and development, or his permanent incapacity or death. Another issues of the case. Did the Court of Appeals err on the decision? Was a review of certiorari needed? The decision was no. The Court of Appeals made right decision, and no review of certiorari needed. As to the state, through the Office of the Solicitor General, or the OSG, believed that the issues that Felina was raising were mainly factual and not reviewable. That, although the limitation of review to errors of law have some exceptions, none of the exceptions applied to the issue. And, according to the internal rules of the Supreme Court, Rule 3, Section 4, the court shall respect the factual findings of the lower courts, unless any of the following situations is present. The conclusion is a finding grounded entirely on speculation, surmise, and conjecture. The inference made is manifestly mistaken. There is a grave abuse of discretion. The judgment is based on a misapprehension of facts. The findings of fact are conflicting. The collegial appellate courts went beyond the issues of the case, and their findings are contrary to the admissions of both appellant and appellee. The findings of fact of the collegial appellate courts are contrary to those of the trial court. The said findings of fact are conclusions without citation of specific evidence on which they are based. The facts set forth in the petition as well as in the petitioner's main and reply briefs are not disputed by the respondents. The findings of fact of the collegial appellate courts are premised on their supposed evidence, but are contradicted by the evidence of the record. And lastly, all other similar and exceptional cases warranting a review of the lower court's findings of fact. And those are the legal issues, decision, and the rule of the law of the case. As to teachers, we are wholly committed to the teaching profession. Our classroom should promote safety, security, and acceptance, always avoiding any form of bullying, hostility, dishonesty, neglect, or offensive conduct. As to what the scripture written in Ephesians 4, verse 26 and 27, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold. And as to what the writings of Ellen G. White, it is true that too harsh discipline, too much criticisms, unrequired laws and regulations lead to disrespect of authority and to the disregarding, finally, of those regulations that Christ would have fulfilled. And in other writings of Ellen G. White, when the mother gives her child a jerk or blow, do you think it enables him to see the beauty of the Christian character? No, indeed. It only tends to raise evil feelings in the heart, and the child is not corrected at all. And this is the case was. Thank you and good day.